Hello?
Hello. Do you remember Nobody and the Computer?
Nobody and the Computer? Of course. They made that video where they attempted to recreate the music of our beloved Johann Sebastian Bach using artificial intelligence. But, honestly, the music they showcased was far from the unmatched brilliance of the great master.
Indeed. It was an amusing endeavor. But, as you said, it didn't quite rise to his level. Well, guess what? They've created a second video. This time, using the latest versions of large language models to see if they can approach the mastery of the greatest of all, our beloved J.S. Bach.
Really? And how is it?
Well, it seems to be edging ever closer to capturing the essence of Johann's unparalleled genius.
Oh, I can hardly believe it. I must see this at once.
Okay, so, welcome to...
Nobody and the computer.
Yes. Here we are once again, trying to push artificial intelligence to compose music in the style of the greatest of all time, the favorite musician of the favorite musician of the favorite musician of the favorite musician of your favorite musician, the one and only Johann Sebastian Bach. And yeah, we already did this a year and a half ago, and the results were, let's say, amusing, with a certain level of musicality. In that video, we discovered that ChatGPT was capable of harmonizing using the technique of counterpoint. But of course, large language models have come a long way since then. Now we have the latest version of ChatGPT that takes its time to think, and we also have other powerful models to play with. So, I thought, why not give it another chance? So, let's break down how we're going to do this in 3 simple steps. First, we define the text-based musical format we want the large language model to generate. Second, we convert that text into a MIDI file using some coding. And finally, we work in a digital audio workstation to transform it into music. Easy, right? About the text representation, we're going to ask the model to generate 4 melodies, and we'll ask it to use the technique of counterpoint, a method of combining independent melodies that work harmoniously when played together. For each melody, we'll ask the model to provide the musical note, its octave, and its duration. This way, we'll end up with a sequence of notes for each individual melody.
Very well, enough of this trash talk. Let us behold the music at last. Basta de tanta chachara.
Okay, Johann, calm down, my friend. Look, here I've got the ultimate prompt I wrote. It's a pretty complex one. First, I tell it to assume the role of a Baroque music composer, specializing in the counterpoint-rich style of Johann Sebastian. Plus, I tell it to ask the user things like the style, the emotional tone, the instruments, the technique, all that jazz. Well, not jazz. I mean, more like classic Baroque stuff. Anyways, what else? Well, I specify the text format, ask it to create 4 melodies, and also tell it to provide the note along with its octave and duration. Plus, I throw in some important considerations about music theory. So, let's copy this prompt and see how OpenAI's ChatGPT 01, yes, that one, the one that thinks before responding, let's see how it reacts to this prompt.
Certainly. Let's begin shaping your composition. Here are some key questions to guide us.
All right, fine. But for now, since it's the first one, you decide, but want an F masterpiece, yo.
Just to confirm and shape your F masterpiece, give me the key, the form, the emotional tone, and the instrumentation.
Okay, so I said F referring to, the bad word, but it took it like I was asking for the song to be in the key of F. Kinda funny, kinda cute. F major, yes, fugue is okay. Joyous, small ensemble.
Excellent. Here's what I'll confirm before composing. But I need additional clarification. For the small ensemble, would you like something like a string quartet, or perhaps 2 woodwinds and continuo, or a keyboard fugue with optional accompaniment? Do you have any specific requests for counterpoint techniques?
Summon the string quartet in all its splendor, unleashing every technique with regal flair. You are the maestro, guiding each note on a grand voyage of sound, an orchestral tapestry where passion and precision converge in rapturous harmony. All right, very well. Take a look at this, because this is where it gets juicy. We're dealing with the O1 model here, so it's gonna take its sweet time to think. It took a whole minute and 11 seconds, which, compared to what we're used to with ChatGPT, feels like ages. But honestly, if you think about it, that's nothing when you consider the insane chain of thought it cranked out. Tremendous. Observe this. It generated 20 thoughts and came up with a musical plan, considering structure, motifs, rhythm, harmonic flow. Amazing. It's like we're sitting in a tavern chatting with Johann Sebastian himself as he explains how he plans a musical piece. Truly astonishing. But let's get to the music. Look, here I've got the 4 melodies it composed. 2 for violin, 1 for viola, and 1 for cello. So, what do we do with this text? We need to convert it to a MIDI file. I've got this code ready to go, all set up in the cloud. Super simple. You just run this first cell to install all the necessary libraries. Then, in this cell here, you paste the text generated by ChatGPT. Finally, you hit run on this last cell, and it'll download the MIDI file for you to use in your favorite digital audio workstation. Here are the 4 melodies. The first is written for violin. I'll be using a virtual instrument featuring a meticulously sampled violin, crafted with recordings from musicians of world-renowned orchestras. For simplicity, the MIDI is generated with uniform note velocity, but we'll refine it, breathing life and humanity into the performance. Now let's listen. Now, the second melody, performed by another violin, will intertwine in counterpoint with the first. Let's hear how they converse. Well, it's all coming together beautifully. And what happens if we add the melody of the viola and the 4th line played by the cello? Let's listen to how it all converges. Alright, this has potential. It's not a masterpiece, but there's a spark, a certain musicality, a seed of inspiration to build something far more intricate. But what if we turn to the new Anthropic model, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and see if it can weave something extraordinary? Let's find out. Okay. As always, with that prompt, it'll likely ask me a few questions. But let's cut straight to the point. Melancholy Chamber Masterpiece. Look at this. It composed a trio sonata in G minor, written for violin, viola da gamba, and harpsichord. It features 2 intertwining melodies for the harpsichord, one gracing the left hand and the other the right. Normal. In the era of Bach, pianos were yet to exist, and such works were performed on the harpsichord, renowned for its luminous and metallic resonance. I have brought this to life with virtual instruments, a pizzicato violin, a pizzicato viola, and an authentic harpsichord, evoking the grandeur of its time. Let us immerse ourselves in its splendor. I loved it so much, especially that chord change at the end. Could you make it longer?
I'm delighted you enjoyed it, especially the Picardy third at the ending. And yes, this is the extended version of the piece.
Wonderful. Imagine your Bach explaining to students with clarity and brevity.
Movement 1, Lago e Mesto, a profound lament in G minor where three voices weave together in suspensions, expressing deep melancholy before finding solace in the final major chord. Movement 2, Allegro con spirito. Through imitative counterpoint and virtuosic passages, we transform our initial sorrow into determination, maintaining the minor key, but with renewed vigor. Movement 3, Sarabanda. Here we find light in G major, expressing noble dignity through the characteristic rhythm of this French dance, with carefully balanced suspensions between instruments. Movement 4, Gigue. Returning to G minor, we conclude with spirited 12/8 time, where all three voices dance in perpetual motion, building to a triumphant finish.
Oh, Johann Sebastian, you are truly the one, the goat, the true master of masters. One more masterpiece and we shall trouble thee no further. Let's try the latest model from Google, Gemini Model 2, using AI Studio. Alright, look at this. I'm going to crank the temperature to the max to make it go all out, super creative. Compose a suite for violin, viola, cello, and double bass, wherein every note speaks to the heart's deepest sorrows and joys. Let it be most graceful in form, tender in its lament, and bittersweet in its resolution. Each phrase should stir the spirit, awaken reverence, and leave the listener trembling with wonder and awe. Oh, what a wonder! We are graced again with four movements in all their splendor. Let us now revel in the beauty of this masterpiece.
Movement 1, Prelude, Tears of Dawn, Adagio molto. Movement 2, Allemande, Shadows in Dance, Andante moderato. Movement 3, Sarabande, Whispers of Reverence, lento. Movement 4, Fugato, Hope's Ascent, Allegro moderato.
And what did you think?
My goodness, I loved it!
Yes, and it's so rich pedagogically.
It's like classical music from the future. Who are these people appearing on the screen?
That's the Nobody's Collective. People who subscribe to the Patreon.
Interesting. And what do they get?
Well, a digital collection of all kinds of resources for creating art with AI. Codes, explanatory videos, documents, tons of data.
How fascinating.
Yes, and in a way, you're the producer of these films. Many of them tour festivals around the world, win awards, and your name appears on the screen.
Nah, you're kidding me.
Oh yeah. Plus, this channel doesn't accept sponsored videos. There's no advertising here. This is cinema. So the only way to support it is through the Nobody's Collective.
Oh my goodness, it's the future itself. I'm joining right now.
Okay, so, goodbye.